Welcome back to another episode of The Canon. I'm your host, Terry, and today I'm doing my initial reaction for X-Men Dark Phoenix. Now, I'm not going to do any spoilers, but look, this X-Men series has not had great fan or critical reception. I understand that, but look, I love these movies, and I could go on for a long time about why I love these movies, but I'll say this. Outside of Wolverine Origins and maybe the Wolverine, which I never saw, but didn't look good. But I would say Origins, outside of that, those two movies, I've loved these movies. I mean, I haven't loved X3, The Last Stand, but over the years it's grown on me. But I've like X-Men X2, amazing. First Class, really enjoyed. Days of Future Past, loved. I loved Apocalypse, and you know what? At first, a lot of people just didn't like it, and then for some reason, over the years, it's been turned into, oh, that movie's terrible. I'm like, it wasn't that bad, and people weren't that mad at it, but whatever. So this had all type of bad publicity going into it. Rotten Tomato scores ridiculously low, like all this stuff. I knew that this was a movie, and there's movies where you are just going to be opposite of the critics. And so after Apocalypse and seeing how people treated that and seeing how much I loved it and found like real hardcore X-Men nostalgia in it, I figured this might be similar. Now, is this movie as good as Apocalypse? Not to me, really. This isn't one of the best X-Men movies, but I really liked it. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. These movies, outside of the ones I mentioned, does what I feel the spirit of the X-Men is, and that is create an allegory for society. It's a different way of talking about different issues in society, and there's always this tension of government and society versus mutants, and there's the Professor X way of dealing with it, and there's the Magneto way of dealing with it. And that's kind of the core of X-Men. And I feel like this movie stayed true to that. There's the Dark Phoenix storyline about the power that gets in Jean Grey, but there's very much a storyline about where the X-Men are in society. And it's interesting seeing it in the first timeline where X-Men were, and then after the Days of Future Past and we changed things, now they went on a different timeline to where we're in the 90s and the X-Men are superheroes. They're popular with the world. Whereas in the first X-Men, they were still in the shadows. And so it was interesting for them to dive into what it means for the X-Men to be like in the limelight, and what does it cost to be in the limelight, and really how fickle or how quickly can the humans change on us. And so it pushes against Professor X and his status as a legendary leader. It pushes against Magneto in the way he wants to handle things. It pushes against everything that X-Men are trying to build to make mutants a part of society. And it asks the question, is it real, or do they just like you right now? And so the Dark Phoenix throws a whole wrench in that. And I think the way they handled the Phoenix and the villains and the way the story folded out, I really liked it. I mean, it was straightforward. I think there was some good development arc for Jean Grey as well as Professor X. It wasn't anything like over the top, but it's a lot of people in the movie, so it's hard to be. But I think they did enough focus on Jean Grey to where I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the action. There's some effects that are like, looks like weren't done, but honestly, a lot of the effects are so good. As much as people talk crap about Fox, as far as night or any teleporting or speed or any of that, I don't think anyone's done it better. Those effects look amazing. I feel like the rescue scene in the beginning was the best X-Men as a team scene I've seen. That's that was a tongue twister, but yeah, I really enjoyed a lot of this movie. And I know some people go in super low expectations and be like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I still came in with pretty good expectations because I know I like these X-Men movies, and I still came out with a pretty good feeling. So As of right now, I would say 85%, but we'll see. I usually don't like to grade it on first reaction, so after I see it a second time, I'll do my spoiler review and give it a final grade. But I think it was a solid B. So anyway, go down comment section. Have you seen Dark Phoenix? What'd you think about it? Did you think it's as bad as people say? If you want to see it, or if you don't want to see it, tell me why you don't want to see it. Or if you want to see it, tell me why you're looking forward to it. Share it around, get the conversation started, thumbs up, subscribe, and if you heard it here, it's official canon.